Hey everybody, welcome. It is Sunday night and we are going to be playing like Clockwork as we do here. It's just been we played last week, yeah?
Yep.
It's hard to it's getting to where I'm trying to remember when we played last or if we did. Yeah, so excited to be here tonight. I don't particularly have any announcements myself, but I am going to cede the floor to Sarah to see if she's got anything.
Kickstarter fulfillment. It is happening next week. That's when I'm coming to you, Tom, right? I'm visiting Tom in Albany, and we are doing fulfillment. So in the next 2 weeks or so, we should be getting most of the packages out the door. So that's really exciting.
Good times.
Nice.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I just started a new show over on Dragons and Things called The Harbingers. We're in the first season of that. Episode 1 just came out last week. It'll be on YouTube soon, but you can come and join us on follow my Twitter if you want to know more. Cool.
Amazing. I watched it, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I watched it as well. It's an interesting crew, and the GM is plays with a lot of various filters to do the various NPCs. I thought that was a nice touch. But,
I will say it was the first time that I'd seen that. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but it was for that first episode. It was cool.
Winston has used it for Episodicals 4, but that's the only one I've seen play with it.
Cool.
Right. Okay, well, in that case, if that's what we've got going on, then I think it's time. All right, welcome back. Let us begin. The early dawn at the campsite that you made up in the Badlands, south of Suslam. Who is waking up first? Surprise, surprise.
Is it time for morning exercises?
Actually, so routine takes place. I get up and I do my exercises, but you guys hear nothing. I go off in the distance, not too far away from the camp, still next to us, but I burn a spell slot to cast silence, so you don't hear me.
Nicest thing you've ever done for us.
Can they hear me, though?
Did you cast a spell of silence as you were doing your thing?
It's an area effect, though.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Is it area?
I mean, if you're doing it right next to him, then yes, it would be silent because people won't be able to hear you.
How far out did you go, I guess, is the question.
Not too far, and I would try not to wake you up either.
Yes, but I'm a thief.
I think
I've given you the things.
I think they've been waking up. I think they've been waking up at that time just because they're trying to do that, you know. So
it's all for Nipa way.
No.
Oh, for Nico.
Shay probably has been sleeping fitfully, so she may or may not be up. She's coming in and out.
Right. And kind of as a matter of fact, as Shay is kind of sleeping, but maybe not sleeping, she actually feels something kind of crawl up around her back and then down in front, and just right kind of like by her neck in front.
I feel and hope to God it's Minya. Because otherwise I'm about to be up and alert more than Aegis is.
Right. So yeah, as you this is really weird. Okay, as you kind of open your eyes and move your hand to kind of feel, it meets resistance, but not what you're expecting. It's not the device that you had put Minya in. It is as if you are touching the creature itself, except that it's not entirely tangible, right? So there's substance there, but it's not all there. And as you open your eyes, you find yourself looking into the semi translucent form of the horned glider, Minya. And I'll share a image. We have of that nowadays. But
I'm gonna think loudly. How are you here? How?
You get a sense that the device you had crafted is destroyed.
Well, yes, I gathered from the wolves, but how are you able to be here physically? Kind of.
You don't really get an answer that you understand. It's like an I don't know kind of thing. It kind of skirts around in a few circles and then just kind of pulls its tail up and starts cleaning it.
I'm sorry I left you alone.
The small creature just kind of continues preening its tail, and then starts kind of cleaning in the folds of the flaps of skin between its legs, the forelegs and the back legs.
This is the first time I've really gotten a look at you since I chased you and you were hurt. You're really pretty.
Again, it's mostly just preening itself at this point. After a moment, it kind of looks up and then it starts like sniffing around in your satchel where your book is.
We're gonna have to be careful. You don't look like any creature from around here, so we don't want people to notice you and hurt you or anything. So just keep it low key.
Is there any food in your bag where you keep your books?
Yeah, usually I have rations.
Okay. Minya kind of crawls into the bag.
Oh, and I have that bread that I took from the bar when I left. I kind of smile at Minya and let her play.
Yeah, she goes into the bag, and then there's if you look inside, she's making short work of the food that you have in there.
That is okay with me.
As the rest of the camp starts to slowly wake you see Aegis hupping in absolute silence. Like, to include no sounds made when jumping or when a rock gets kicked out of the way or anything like that.
Oh, that's the best time I've been able to sleep in since I met Aegis.
Yeah. I spent months traveling with him, and he's never done this before. I'm not sure if this is a good thing or not.
This is a good thing. This is undoubtedly a good thing.
Lox is gonna wait for Aegis to finish and sort of check in on him because he thinks it's weird.
I do. I was probably towards the end of it. My hand just goes up like this real quick, and then the silence drops, and I'll walk over, a little sweaty, sit down and like start getting my tea stuff together to make my after workout tea.
Aegis, you was mighty quiet this morning. I noticed.
You noticed?
I mean, no, I guess I didn't notice until I woke up, but I've never seen that before.
I had a dream last night. I was in the middle of a market, and around me I could hear nothing. And suddenly there was a swan flying overhead, and when I woke up, I had a new ability.
Wow.
Wait, so can you do that for like anything? Will it make all of us silent too?
I assume so. I look forward to using it, actually.
Why is everyone looking at me?
Could be convenient, Mr. Pelican Screech.
But it does not
I don't
move.
know what you're talking about.
I mean, great. I'm glad you're okay. But that is mighty strange.
I will say it's really hard to keep in rhythm with morning exercises when there's no noise. I count on that noise to be able to do the exercises with you. I was off rhythm the whole time.
This is no problem for me. Make my tea.
Okay, so as everyone is sort of waking up, you do note that it appears that Shayloon is starting to kind of prepare for the walk back to the oasis with everybody. Nothing squirrely going on over there that you can see.
I get my book out, and I kind of have it open, but I'm like staring at one point at a page. I'm like just thinking, not reading.
Is there a creature crawling around you?
Is it still in my bag, Danny?
At this point, I give you back kind of control over that unless there's something specific happening. So,
I'd say like, so right now I'd say Minya's still in my bag because I'm focused on the book. But my eyes kind of keep sidling over to the bag. So Minya's still eating at this point. I'm not trying to hide her from you guys. I'm just like thinking about how this happened. And
Miss Shayloon, your bag's moving.
So this morning, you know, Minya, the Minya, well, psst, hey, come here. And I kind of like cross my arms and reach down into my bag, and this little creature.
So, for the rest of you, this is not a creature you've ever seen before at all, unless you're an elf that comes from the Shadow Fae, in which case you know what it is exactly. It's benign. It's like a squirrel in the Shadow Fae. It's one of the few creatures that isn't just out to wreck everything. But it is a Shadow Fae creature.
This is not a creature I have ever seen before.
Yeah, it's a little strange looking there. Man, you say this is Minya?
Stranger than a conscious sphere that glides around and does what I ask it to.
This is a good point.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could. She kind of catches herself because she's getting excited, and then kind of like everything's flooding back of what has been happening, and she's like, "Yeah, I found Minya, and she was hurt, so I couldn't save her life, and we saved her spirit and put it into the sphere."
Okay.
And now I don't know why she doesn't need it. I know the sphere got damaged, but I thought I would have to re-summon her. But she found me like this.
As you've been talking, I've been slowly creeping up with the magnifying glass towards her to get like a look at what she is. This is odd, yet adorable. Has she bitten anyone or you or?
She just ate some of the bread I brought from the tavern in my bag. No, she's still Minya.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've just that story is really I don't even know the words to quite describe it, but very interesting. Ms. Rosalia, have you seen this kind of thing before? Because I know I sure haven't, and my everyone else is saying no.
I walk up and I want to play with it. Can I say hello?
I look down at Minya and tell her telepathically, like, you know them. They want to say hi. And she'll skirt down my arm, and I kind of like keep her from falling. I lift my arm, but she gets to the end of my elbow and jumps onto your shoulder.
I just hold out my arm and let it crawl down, and I look at it. I'm like, hi, how are you? And then I like make the little noise that you make to animals when you want them to like pay attention. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it, listening to see if it has something to say. Just want to hear little what it sounds like. Something, it reminds me of the Shadow Realm, so I think it's very familiar to me.
What does a horned glider sound like, Danny?
It sounds mostly, if it makes a sound, it's not, generally it's a very quiet animal, but when it makes a sound, it's like a like that. I know it's not as exciting as a camel.
I was expecting a camel noise.
Refreshing my memory with that one?
The horn. This is what horn gliders sound like. That's, you walk around and that just happens all the time. No, I'm just kidding. It makes cute little squirrel noises, guys.
I see a montage of Emperor's New Groove coming.
I look at Shay and go, Shay, do you need me to build a new container for Minya, or are you okay with Minya being out in the world?
Actually, I reach into the satchel and I pull out the figurine that Panabon gave me at our first meeting, before he murdered a guard in front of me. And
I mean, they murdered many things probably along the way. So.
I still have this. I thought about for now, I mean, I have some ideas on maybe tinkering with something that, like, if she even needs it. I don't know if she even needs it anymore, or if she's semi here.
My only concern would be Minia being very alluring is my own concern. Especially if there's like water demons at the oasis. I don't want anything to happen.
Yeah, I don't know the answers yet. I didn't even know she could do this, let alone thinking. I don't know that I can put her back in a thing. I'd have to experiment and try with her and see what I can do.
Well, there you go.
I'd like to fashion something for her, maybe a mixture of science and magic that could maybe not just have her roll and bounce, but maybe fly. I don't know if I can, but...
A little copper airship. And we could put a little string, and we could just have a little copper airship floating with us.
You said not to attract attention, right?
I mean, well, this is still me we're talking about, so there's going to be a little play.
This is true.
Miss Shayloon, I think we can figure that out on the way. But what I will say is, and he bends over to look Minya in the eyes and he goes, "I'm glad you're back. Welcome back to the party, Minya."
That kind of like, she smiles at Minya, but then kind of like thinks, and she's kind of back at the party too. So she goes, sorry I put you all through this. It was my fault that you came all the way out here, and sorry.
It was no problem to keep us together.
She immediately kind of like looks confused at Aegis because she did not expect that from Aegis.
Character growth.
I did find out that apparently there is worth for those who have access to magic. And I look at Panaban and say they were looking to sell my talents. So, you know, one more thing to hide from.
Well, if you didn't like fighting pits before, you certainly wouldn't like them then.
Just any idea where they were trying to sell your services to, or did you hear anything while you were there?
No, I was unconscious. Yeah. I fought with them, but they knocked me out, and when I came to, I was in some kind of hole, and the sandstorm was coming at that time, so there wasn't really... And then I didn't really fully trust the boy, so I didn't really talk to him much.
Understandable. I'm just glad you're okay. Like I said, Miss Shayloon, I will continue to do my best to keep you safe. I'm sorry I couldn't do it in this instance, but I will walk to the ends of the world to bring you back.
It's not your fault it's not your responsibility to correct my mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, Aegis, as we head out, I have something that occurred that I'd like to talk with you about. And like, I assume we're kind of getting the camels ready and heading back, and like my legs still hurt, so I'm gonna get up on the camel. But I watched what you did with some of your healing ability and ability to take someone that's on the brink of death or perhaps even dead and bring them back. And I've been thinking of it from multiple angles. I know you have Nipa Way, but there's multiple ways to use different magics, manipulation, conjuration. There's a lot there. And so I was trying to replicate what you did, and there was power in that cave. And I almost was able to tap it, and I did. I brought him back for just a moment. He spoke, and then he was gone again, and I don't know why.
Odd.
I've never seen that work that way for you.
I have never brought anyone back to life, though. Just save them from death. It's not a power I have yet. I have never brought anyone without breath back to life. I'm able to heal. I'm able to keep people who are close to death alive, but resurrection is nothing that I have done myself. On that day, when my friend Chingon died, it was Nipoe herself who did that. I imagine that power is beyond my reach. For you to attempt it seems very brave.
Yeah, I was just trying to fix what I had done. But, or think of it, if you'd like, I have notes on what I tried and what I did. I had been thinking about it on my walk and had written a bunch down, so if maybe it would help, I'd like to know what it was that happened.
You mean when you temporarily revived Yusenda? You would like to know what happened?
Yeah, I mean, why did it work for only a short time? What was the source of the power I was able to draw from? I had tried using my own power. I had tried using my own life force to trade or exchange almost, but there was something there, and I don't know how to describe it. It felt yellow. And I had to fight with it. Like, I could tell that there was this wildness to it that was almost malignant. But as it was growing in me, I took control of it. I said, "No, you listen to me." Well, metaphorically, I didn't say it out loud. But then, as this power grew and built, I cast the spell, and then Yusenda turned and looked at me and asked what I had done. And then I talked to him. I tried to reassure him. I tried to tell him we'd get him to safety. I asked what he was feeling or what he meant, or he didn't. He just spoke nonsense to me anyway. None of it was helpful. And then a few moments later, he was gone again. And that's when the bandits showed up.
Well, when I do magic, it comes not from myself. I notice that when you cast things, you use certain components, and it seems like a very scientific process. But when I cast, it seems to come just from somewhere inside that I access simply by feeling. If I can help you in some way to uncover the secret behind what you did, I will try my best. But I find that I am also a student of this power myself.
That's what's fascinating. And even Rosalia and Lux, it's. I remember. So when I was still at university, there was a spell. The thing I do where I can make things really cold and then it kind of explodes a little, and not the ice dagger, not the freeze blade, but the other one I can do. And my professor had talked about, instead of making it more of a manipulation of energy where you're speeding up the particles, think of it as more of a conjuring something from nothing or something from another place. So I think
like
there's different...
like an alchemical process that you do, but simply with the components that you have before you, like a willful alchemical process.
Maybe that, but maybe also like if you think of so water, this cold, right, is the speeding up of the particles that make the water and pulling moisture, which is what I've done before. But what if we were to take it from somewhere else? Take that water source. How much bigger could it be if I pulled from the ocean, or something like that, and just focused on transporting it here and freezing it rather than drawing the moisture from this environment. So it's different methods of magic to get to the same point, and that's what I wonder is if you have this ability and you use it through this feeling or through Nipa Way, and I know you usually issue a command and it happens, but maybe there's something to both of them, and there's multiple ways to get to the ending. Maybe I could learn your spells and you could learn mine.
I just speak to Nipa Way like a stubborn friend. Basically, is how I do that.
I see. I see the flaw in what I was trying. Then maybe that's why it didn't work when I tried. I did appeal to Nipa Way as one of the methods, and I was unsuccessful.
I have trouble speaking to her myself, but she does come through when I need her.
Well, I think it's worth testing, and it's interesting, and we'll see what we can discover.
I will notate my feelings and findings when I cast spells.
Thanks. Oh, and she closes the book in her that she had stood up with Minya and kind of forgot she was holding, and she wraps it up and hands it to you and says, if you'd like to look at my notes on the way back, you're welcome to.
Thank you. I mean, Bitaru, which is Daywall.
Very good.
This tape's falling off. I'm just gonna let it.
Just taped up his glasses. As they're talking about the nuances of magic and what have you, is anyone else having any discussions, or is everyone just kind of listening and thinking to themselves, what a couple of nerds?
I'm listening and thinking, what a couple of nerds. I actually look at Perunia and I give Perunia just a little like, I don't quite know how to do this, how it is, but there's like a kind of an Halconian eyebrow raise thing that says something to talk about later. And so the Palacunian eyebrow raise happens, and
whisper to them, stabbing somebody is so much easier than what these two do.
You just hear the longest, thinnest sigh in all of creation come out of Panabon's mouth.
I would say Lox is not listening to their conversation. It's a little bit over his head. And then he would look at Rosalia and say, Rosalia, I think at some point we should talk with the group about what we saw when we were trying to get back to them. But I think right now we need to give them a little space. Let's wait till at least we're back in town.
I'll also note, I don't think I mentioned it when... real quick, I don't think I mentioned it at the time, but when you returned that globe that you had taken, you still have it on your person. It came back with you. So Rosalia still has that.
A globe? Is it a pretty globe? Did I notice the globe?
You cannot see the globe.
It is a hidden globe. Right.
Challenge accepted.
Sneaky globe. We do not see this globe. It's not there.
There is no globe.
You're lucky Panabon is distracted. But if Panabon sees the globe, Panabon will have questions about the globe, just so you know.
Mm.
So why can't we tell them now?
Oh, I just don't know if we have enough information more than, hey, we had this strange experience we don't really know the answer. I think we're still waiting for some signs. But if I'm wrong, please feel free to let me know.
Just wondering if any of it can translate over into the human realm, and it would be something they would understand. Like, oh, maybe possibly imminent danger. And I don't know, something time sensitive. If not, we don't have to say anything. But
so I will say, before all of this magic appeared before me, I sure didn't have any information. I've never heard any stories of elves, of a war of three elves with those symbols even. Now it seems like we're trying to unravel a big mystery that's tied to them. And I just don't feel like I have all the puzzle pieces yet. Or whatever a puzzle is in this world.
yeah, I think sometimes I get worried about Perunia because out of all of us, they're the only ones that doesn't have magic. So if something was to come at us with magic-based powers, how would Perunia defend herself? Should we see if we could, I don't know, maybe Shay knows something about, like, I don't know, how to give non-magic bearers magic? I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, I don't want us to go in the situation and then out of all of us, Perunia is the least prepared.
That's
with something
fair.
magical.
Yeah, I think whatever. And he looks back at the rest of their traveling companions and he goes, whatever lies ahead of us, it for sure 100% deals with magic and what magic is doing to this world. At least that's what it seems to me. So maybe we do find someone who can. Maybe not, I don't know if Perunia would want magic per se, but maybe some ability to have a sword, maybe imbrued with some kind of magic, or something that she could feel like she's slicing a little bit harder. Maybe there's something like that in one of these towns. We'll see.
I'm definitely up for finding it and hiding that glove from our shiny seekers in the group.
Yeah, we definitely need to keep that secret, at least for now. And he sort of chuckles, but he goes, he looks back at you one more time and he goes, I'm so glad that I'm not trying to figure all of this out by myself. It's good to have your help.
I just need to find another elf. Because I know there's one out here, and wherever they are, they're hiding, and I want to find them.
Then let's find them. And he gets back on his camel named horse, and he continues riding.
Okay. The rest of the journey doesn't take too long, and it's about noon, a little after noon, when you kind of come down and can see Suslam in the distance. And you do notice there is definitely a plume of smoke kind of rising from the oasis. It is not so large that you think the entirety of the oasis is emanating smoke, but it is significant. It's at least a very large bonfire's worth.
What, they've got fire demons there now too? First water demons, now fire demons? How many demons can one oasis have?
I'm sorry, did you say water demons?
Yeah, the water demons.
There's no water demons, at least none that we saw. He looked at Panabon.
You don't know what happened to that. Who was it that somebody died or something like that?
Yeah. Right now, I think we need to get to that town. Fire is never a good sign when it seems like it could be something big.
Especially so far away from a major city.
I look between Panabon and Lox and go, Lox, fill me in?
He would explain that they were chasing after sort of a murder in that like he would tell you the story of what happened with Panabon believing that there are water demons because there was water near the murder site and it not being confirmed. But we're just gonna let Panabon be Panabon.
You have no proof that it wasn't water demons either. I'm just saying it could very well be water demons. I mean, you make fun, but how long have we known Nipaway for? Nipaway could be a water demon. We don't know.
Okay, let's start with the facts. There was a murder, correct?
Yes. It was an orc. There was an orc who was murdered, and it looked like there was maybe shot with a dart of poison, and there was this little girl who observed him, and we were following this little girl, and then we met this like crazy, like, I don't know, like witch type woman, and she gave me some herbs that may or may not have the power to kill our little friend who talks too much. And then we came here to find you.
Not me. Not me.
Why do we want to kill Zivit?
No, we just want Zivit to be quiet for a little while. That would be great.
I am not a party of this. I am.
And the witch said something about there being another elf, and it was very interesting. I think you'd like her.
I actually, and she gets really excited for a minute, and she goes, actually, can I see those herbs?
I show her the herbs, some of the herbs that I still have.
I take them and look at them like I'm investigating, and I go, oh, yes, oh, very interesting. And then I'm going to pocket it because I don't want to grab it.
Rudy's like, at first, like, yeah, they're really interesting. And then, like, sees her pocket. I'm like, but Shay just got back and doesn't want to upset her, so I let her have it.
The chain goes, proud of you.
I try to change the subject.
There's something on fire over there.
So where does that smoke look like it's coming from? Since we've been at the Oasis before,
Yeah, I'd like to roll a perception on that, Danny.
Go ahead. Yes, roll perception.
I like that. Like we told you the whole history of everything you missed. That's our party.
It is okay. So you are south of Suslam. It is on the southern side of Suslam. So it's closer to you than the rest of the city. You feel like maybe it's close to where the inn would be, maybe, or make a quick intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
See if you can remember what else is on that side of
an intelligence save.
Yeah.
Guard tower.
Okay, so you know that there's the southern wall, there's the inn, and there's also the Blue Joke Lodge, the Orc Lodge that's there, and then interior there's like a guard, like a guard house, and then like the entrance and a few guard towers. So that's what you're thinking. It's something along there.
All right. But it's definitely outside of the walls of the city, right?
Well, it could be inside, but it would be it would be like something very close to the southern wall. It would be like right by the wall. Your eagle eyes make all of that
with
out.
My goggles.
Yes.
Yeah. He would share that with the group. It looks like it's coming from the southwest side of the city. I'm not quite sure where, but around all of the inn and the Blue Joke Lodge and all of those things. But that's just my idea.
The orcs are in danger?
This is something to do with the murder.
Yeah. It's very suspicious.
Water demons are conspiring with the fire demons.
I make my camera go a little faster.
Same.
Because of what Panabon said. I will make that clear.
I'll do that too, but I'll just to keep up, but I'll kind of again look at Aegis kind of concerned and go, I'm sorry, I know this is more usually a question you might ask, but why is this our problem?
Roland laughs. That is a good question, Miss Shalun. I just found myself asked to investigate the scene, and now we are part of it. I believe Perunia was of interest because of the orcs that are involved.
Oh, are you friends with the orcs?
My friend's one of the captains over there is a good friend of mine. I've worked with her before, and she's was interested in the murder, and it was a lot of unrest, and we said we'd look into it for her, but I mean, if our caravan left before the murder was solved, of course we would have to go. So we didn't make a firm commitment, but since we were hanging around anyway, the Oasis.
I apologize. I didn't mean to be harsh. I didn't know that you had run into a friend. Of course, for a friend. Of course. Of course.
Thank you.
A tiny little smile curls up on Idris's lip.
Why?
Because of your attitude towards it, I like it. So crack a little smile.
I'm trying to avoid trouble, not find more.
That's fair.
All right. So, do you speed up, or do you just kind of keep the same pace, or what's going on?
I think we sped up.
Okay. So as you are moving towards Susum, you do notice that it is definitely the lodge and many of the tents around it that are smoking. That's
first thing I say is
that's about what we see.
Zivit. as we ride, I'm like, Zivit?
Go straight towards the Blue Jack Lodge, and I'm trying to see if my friend is okay, if I can locate anyone to tell us what happened.
Okay, so
are they still on fire, or are they just smoking still?
There's just smoke. Just a lot of smoke is kind of coming up. It's almost entirely burned down over there.
Thanks.
This looks terrible.
There isn't really anyone there right now, and it looks like the fires have probably been out for some time. There is a stack of bodies. You count about 12 of them.
Jesus.
And
are they orcs, Danny?
Mostly. Some of them are human.
Are they from our caravan, Danny?
The ones that you can like make out their features.
Yeah. No. Okay. Just asking, because we're supposed to keep all of them alive.
What happens in Suslam stays in Suslam.
Sure.
This is outside of Suslam, actually. So,
yeah. Are people trying to put out the fire? Are they just trying to rescue people? What are they doing?
No one else is here, really. It's out. It looks like probably whatever happened, the fire was finally subsided, and that the dead were gathered and
dealt with.
Probably people are, taking a rest or a break.
Let's look for Agalia.
Maybe at the inn.
Forget this. It's like in my eyeball.
Mend.
Panabon looks over to Bruni and goes, "Hey, do you think they have an open air graveyard here too?"
Oh, damn. If not, they're going to have to start one.
Just practicality is what it is.
Right?
I mean, technically, they just started it right there where they stacked all the bodies.
Is this our impact on this world? Is we just go city to city and create open air graveyards? Like that's
yeah.
I mean, technically,
how we do
about the Oasis is that there's a body of water, so it could be an open sea graveyard instead of like a floating barge.
It seems much more convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think finding Ogalia is a good idea. So I would also go and do that.
Danny, I do quickly want to look at the bodies to see if I see my friend there.
So anyone that is recognizable, you don't recognize.
Okay.
So there are a few bodies that are. They'll know who they are because they'll know who's missing, not necessarily like by seeing who they are. But yeah, you head over towards the inn in order to find and speak to Ogalia, and we will figure what happens there when we come back from our break. Welcome back. All right, so the troop heads towards the inn to see if they can find Ogalia or really anybody, I suppose, huh?
Mm-hmm.
as you walk into the inn, the common area is just abuzz with activity. There's several cots are set aside. There's people lying down being tended to. Most of them are orcs, and then there's just a lot of movement, and everything is just kind of very busy in here. Looking around, you do notice that Ogelia's there. Several of the caravan members are in there trying to help as best they can. And Perunia does see Nguyen kind of bustling back from the kitchen and bringing stuff out for folks.
So they're using it as a stage, kind of like a hospital right now?
Yeah.
All right, here I go. Who's in charge?
There's not really anyone in charge. I mean, who are you? Are you like looking to see who's in charge? Are you asking somebody?
I'll blatantly be like, who's in charge?
Yeah, nobody knows the answer to that question.
Then I think that if I was to roleplay everything part by part, that it would take a long time. So I just automatically just snap into being a doctor. I put my shield aside somewhere off to the side. I just start going to the first person that I can treat.
Okay. So you start treating people. What about everyone else?
Ordering people around, like, hey, bring water, whatever I need from people. I'll just, whoever's around that is trying to help, I'll just, take charge, basically.
Sure.
You approach Nguyen.
Okay. Make a persuasion check, though,
okay,
just to see how you come off here.
Persuasion. You guys will be surprised at what my plus is.
You are not good at
that. Is on brand.
I think I saw that episode of MASH. I think I saw that episode of MASH.
You know why that happened because you said that. Like,
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
As soon as you said, "This is going to be great,"
thanks, Fantasy Ground.
So at first, you do.
There is inspiration.
Yeah, if you want,
I will use that. Thank you, Nipoe. You're generous and kind. That is ridiculous. That's better. Did not go?
See it? No, it didn't go.
I don't see anything.
Oh, okay. I don't know why, but
also, Danny, can we have our full rest?
Oh,
yep. I'll set that up in a second.
There we go.
I'll also help, like grab water and stuff as you dictate.
Okay. Ooh, that is a good roll. Got a 19. Okay. Sorry, my brain got derailed a little bit there. So yeah, with the 19, you get to business, and just like the manner of your the way you react and just the certainty with which you act, people immediately sort of snap to and start following your orders and doing what you tell them to do.
As you like get into your groove, Aegis, and start bossing people around, I kind of crawl up to stand on one of the chairs, and I'm trying to get your attention, but you're already rushing by. And on one of your pass-bys, I snatch your glasses from you, and then go, "I'll be right back." And I'm going to scurry away and try to repair them.
And then he trips and falls. No. All right. So real quick, there is Nguyen with Perunia, and then you were saying something, Randy, for Locks.
No, I just think Locks would grab whatever, or like also aid however he can. So grabbing stuff because he's not a medicine man.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, as you call for Nguyen, she kind of looks up and you see her just kind of like pad over towards you. Where have you guys been?
We had an emergency with a friend that took us away overnight. What happened?
Somebody had attacked the lodge. We believe perhaps the same ones who attacked before. There were many of them. We were caught unaware and surprised. They did not stay.
Like bandits?
No. They did not stay long to battle. They struck quickly and then melted away as soon as we mounted our defense, but the damage had been done. They were not bandits. They were some sort of... They retreated back into the water and did not rise up again.
Oh my god, are they water demons?
I cannot say that I believe they are demons.
Were they human? Humanoid? Did they look like orcs or humans? I doubt Dragonborn.
You son of a bitch.
For the love of Neepaway, do not let Panabon be right.
Oh my gosh.
Panabon didn't want to be right. Panabon did not want to manifest this. I promise.
So she just kind of, it was very dark. In the fire we saw them. They looked... They were not human. They were not orc.
Elves, like myself.
I do not think so. They had tails.
Oh, some of my kind could have tails, I guess. Interesting. Were they after the destruction of the lodge, or were they going inside to get something?
That's the thing. There seemed to be no purpose. They struck quickly, and then once we came to counter, they swiftly escaped.
But how did the fire start? Did they shoot fire at the lodge?
They started the fires? I cannot say.
None of your weapons, though, are flamed, that I can remember.
No. It happened very quickly. Once I was up and out, as I said, I caught the last of them jumping into the water.
It's terrible. I'm so sorry, Nguyen. Do you think this could be connected in any way to the murder that happened?
Perhaps. It seems as likely as any other theory.
Well, we'll try to help and discover what happened as much as we can. Perhaps there's something we can do around the defenses if this is something that might happen again if they're trying to finish you off.
Right.
And as like whatever she was carrying or whatever, I will go to grab it with her to indicate that I'll help however I can, whether it's through an investigation or to help here in this makeshift hospital.
Okay. So with that, you start to assist in kind of helping keep everybody quiet, comfortable as possible. Anyone else doing anything in particular?
We'll whisper to the others as I come across them what Nguyen told me.
And as I'm looking for materials that I want to repair or maybe level up Aegis's glasses. I'm also anyone that I see, I want to ask like for any of the stuff that we found, like Panabon and the glove, so that I can try to study it and figure out what it is and what it could do.
I have the glove. It's in my bag, and I'm busy.
I don't know that I feel comfortable going into Aegis. I guess I'll wait.
Going to
I
wait
have-
on the glove.
But sorry, real quick. Perunia, since you're telling us about this, I have a thought. Like, didn't Rosalia have a vision when she was in the water?
But she had mentioned ancient elves and ancient humans from what we understand, but I'll ask her if there's anything like this in the Shadowfae. If we think if a portal has been opened between us and the Shadowfae, there could be other creatures leaking through. I'll ask her if this rings any bells.
Yeah, let's I'll go with you.
Okay, I'm gonna look for Rosalia on the roof where she tends to go when she wants solitude.
Okay. We will go back to that when we get Rosalia back.
Rosalia is here.
Because so it's an issue on my end.
I see her.
I've just been having like voice delay. Like everything you guys say, I'm hearing it like a couple, like 5
Yeah,
after.
yeah. I think we fixed that though.
Yeah,
hopefully.
it just fixed itself.
Okay, so you head up to the roof. Before we get to there, Panabon.
Yes. 2 questions. One is, do all the orcs look the same in like manner of dress? Like, are they all fighters? Are any of them like of merchant class? Like, was it like a hit on a certain type of orc? Like, do any of them look fancier orc-wise than any of the other orcs?
Not that you can tell. I mean, the Blue Joke orcs, they're for the most part, they're pretty just kind of, salt of the earth sort of people, right? They spend a lot of their time traversing the desert as caravan guards, their own caravans, and just kind of taking care of their needs in that way. There can be some that tend towards finery and the like, and they do have some traditions, especially in their sort of their dance and gatherings and stuff. But for the most part, one Blue Joke looks very much like any other. You could tell if it's one of the lodge masters, and sometimes if there might be specific exceptions, but for the most part, yeah, they're just
Okay. The second question is Zivid around helping? Is Zivid upstairs? Has Zivid gone missing? My second question is all Zivid based.
You don't see Zivid.
Okay. So Panabon is going to go upstairs and knock on previously Aegis's and now Zivid's door. I guess because I thought Zivid went into... Did Zivid have his own room? Did I misunderstand that?
I believe that's where
Okay.
Zivid went.
Zivid does have his own room, yes.
I would. Panabon is going to check on Zivid and get a Zivid-themed perspective on what happened before they do what they're going to do next.
Okay, sure. So upstairs is, as you guys make it to the roof, you find Rosalia. What is it that you're doing?
Go up and I'm gonna guess that she's meditating or looking out over to the city and say, Rosalia, we found out what happened.
Testing the area for magic just to see what was in the area or if there's anything that's just been hanging out. anything new that smells different or feels different in the shopway. I don't see anything just yet, but I am curious to know what everyone's been up to downstairs.
You feel like there is a sense of something. It's hard to tell what it is, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of annotate that to you. Just that you think of the orb that you found, and how through it you were able to sort of see something before.
Like, it just comes to mind like a mental impression.
Like you just it's something you just, it kind of comes to your mind that maybe that could be helpful in this situation. The orb itself.
Yeah. Perunia. I can't hear you.
Oh. Do I need to be louder?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I want to show you something that I found.
Okay.
Can you give me just 1 second? I'm going to go grab it.
Okay.
I'll be back. 1 second. 1 second. Literally.
And Shay, I assume you're still with us? I think Shay's going to be far more interested in this.
I found this.
Oh. Oh my. You found it where? During the sandstorm?
Yeah, with clocks. It's some kind of magic.
I I was standing behind Perunia, but as soon as you pull that thing out, I like step like between her legs right in front and go, "Ooh, may I?"
Don't look at the
I'm gonna
hole.
cast me some identify real hard.
Okay. This is all right. So you're going to know exactly what it does, but the name of it doesn't come to you right away. Instead, you get an impression of a woman. You think she's an elf. She's got sort of a timeless look to her in terms of age. She has, in this image that you see, she has white hair, but you know that this is not always the case. But right now, her hair is white and long. Around her neck is a large amulet that looks like a skull, that has crystalline eyes in the sockets, but you don't get a sense of bad or evil or wicked. In this woman's hand is the orb, and you feel the orb. You get a sense that the orb is then proffered forward, and it just kind of floats, and then she fades away, and the orb itself suddenly shines with a bright light. However, it's not a warm light. It's a very cold light. It's bluish. It is. It gives a sense of not darkness so much as just maybe emptiness. It's very pale. And that's the first thing that happens. And then as the light closes off, you see that you get a sense of wanting to know more and feeling like the orb can tell you somehow. but not you, maybe. And then that fades away. As it does, there is... Oh, man. Should pull this up. There is a single word that echoes kind of in your mind. And I'm going to tell you what that word is in a minute, but I don't have it up right now. So, but you get a sense that that's what will trigger the light manifestation. And so, go ahead.
No, you go, please.
I was going to just say, in meta terms, you can cast daylight once per day.
Wow.
And you can attempt a commune with the particular individual that you saw in the vision.
Ooh.
Once per day, a commune can be attempted for that individual.
So, yeah,
All right.
I was going to tell her what happened downstairs. I ran into Nguyen, and she said that the lodge was attacked by these serpent-like creatures, that they were not human or orc or elf or dragonborn. And it seems to be they had tails. And they attacked the lodge quickly, came up through the water, and returned to the water. And I don't know of anything that sea monster like, but I was wondering if you have any such creatures in the Shadowfae.
That answer is just yes. I mean, it's such a broad thing. Like, yes, there are creatures that will come out of the water and murk you and then run back in the water and
Hey,
get
well,
away.
here there's not, all right? I'm glad I don't live in the Shadowfae.
Like, anytime you ask Rosalia, like, about just horrible stuff in the Shadowfae, she's just like, yes, we have that.
That was the voice of GM. That was not the voice of Rosa.
Yeah. But yeah, however you want to describe that, Rosalia. But for me to you, the answer is yes.
It's not looking good. That's all I have to say.
Panabon was right. It is water demons. I don't want to tell them that they were right, so somebody else will have to do it. I don't even want to be in the same room when Panabon finds out that they were right.
We'll get to that. Rosalia, I think this is... Oh, Danny, I am so sorry for this, but as I come out of the vision, I'm just going to whisper, the elfin sphere. That's what I'm calling it. Done.
As you desire.
So, Rosalia, this is for you. I think so. I can't use it, but you can make. Here, just hold this, and I'm gonna like walk up to Rosalia's waist and start moving her arms in the same position that I saw the elf in the vision hold it, and place the orb in her hands, and then whisper like the word and say this. Okay,
the this that you are going to say is, one second. Here it is. Found it. Good Lord.
Have you ever stared into a spotlight before?
Is this word for the commune or for the light?
The light. There didn't seem to be a word for the commune.
Okay, so first, we're going to do this first. That's fine. Close your eyes.
So it's Sauve Shiji.
It's beautiful.
Want me to say it, Shaylin, or do you want me to think it?
Oh, say it.
Salve.
And with that, like, not prepared, you kind of have to shield your eyes as this just cold, pale light emanates. It, even in the noon sun, it overpowers the light around and creates this, I want to say 60-foot radius of just a bluish light that you're in. Yes, 60-foot radius. The orb also lifts a few inches from her hand as it does so.
Sick.
Like you don't even have to hold it at this point.
Yes.
Get the extension cord.
So, yeah.
We're leveling up in season 2.
Somebody deserves some inspiration for that. I'm just saying.
We got a better budget this season. We got a better budget.
Not much better, but we got it.
So,
$15 better.
so yes, and it's kind of just floating there. And actually, Rosalia can actually put her arm down, and it stays.
It's canceling out Randy.
and just so everyone knows, if you were to walk away from it, it would stay there. And then if you got more than 60 feet away, it would start to follow you around. Just
Rosalia,
Whoa.
how ironic. You have the power over darkness and light now.
So, all right. Now, say it again and turn it off. There's something else.
That wishes you.
Oh, that's cool. That's so neat. All right. So now, Perunia, we need to step back. There's something this can do, and I'm not exactly sure how. I think it's something within you have to do or think or know or whatever. But I saw this, I think she was an elven woman, and she had this long white hair, but it wasn't always white. And she has this orb in front of her, and I think you can see her. I think you can talk to her through this orb.
Maybe you can ask her about the serpent bean things.
Yeah, I think I might. Does she have a name?
I don't know. But she's I almost imagine that either in a parallel universe she has this orb as well, or there's a duplicate. Oh my. Duplicate. I'm so excited I can't even talk. And so you guys can talk through it almost just from afar, like telegraphically. I'm grasping at straws, guys.
So, Morgano is the patron, as your patron. And basically, you can attempt once a day to ask a yes or no question. And there is a chance that it will be answered. And then if it is answered, there is then a chance you can ask a second question. And then if that's answered, there's a chance you can ask a third. So that's the mechanics.
So I can talk to the orb and it will talk back.
Try it. Just think of an elf with long white hair and just focus on the orb and imagine her face in it, and then just say hello and see what happens.
I'm thinking.
Painful.
Hello?
Shh.
So there is, if you can think of a yes or no question to ask. So if you want to know, maybe are these things from the Shadow Fae would be an example. Like, are these things from our realm kind of thing?
So I ask it, where are the snakes from?
Okay. Given that your intent is to know if they're from the Shadow Fae or not, the response you get a glimpse in the orb of waters that are dark, overgrown with just the shore is overgrown with various plants, a lot that look like mangroves that just the roots kind of spider into the water below. And you see several insects and other creatures that you definitely identify as being Shadow Fae creatures. And then the water ripples. You see just the little bit of a head kind of poke up, and then it pops back down, and the waters ripple. The answer being yes, they are from the Shadow Fae.
Get Perunia and I say, you're right.
That's the only freebie. Normally, it's a 50% chance that question will be answered. So if at this point, roll a D100. So that's the third dice from the right. If you right click it, there's going to be a percent symbol. If you right click it, right click it.
Right. Click on the percent?
Yep, click on the percent and then hover over the thing and roll it onto, and you want a 25 or less. That is a 72. So you do not get a second question. But normally if you get so it's 50 or less for the first, 25 or less for the second, and then 10 or less for the third. And you can do this once a day.
But technically for the role play element, you can ask the question, you just might not get the answer.
Yeah. So
okay, well that's really bad, like really bad. I mean, entire serpent-like beings from the Shadow Fae just attacked my friend's lodge. Like that's really bad, guys, right? Like, it's not just me. Like, that seems really, really bad for our, I don't know, world.
I mean, I think of it as good because I miss the Shadow Fae, but for humans, it's not ideal.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to live in the Shadow Fae, and I don't want that to become our universe or planet, or I don't want the Shadow Fae to spread anywhere else from the Shadow Fae. So, this is bad.
I tell Minya, she doesn't mean it.
I'm sure the Shadow Fae used to be a very nice place once upon a time. But right now, I don't know.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't a nice place once upon a time.
Rudy's trying to be kind.
So you saw what my deity looked like, I think, Shay? The white-haired lady?
That was a goddess?
I think that was Morgan Faye, or whatever her name is. She looks like
Morgano.
Yeah, that lady. She looks like she could be like of the winter, but I don't know.
Of the winter. I'm sorry, can you spell that?
Yes. Oh.
Of the
Morganol.
I was thinking of the language that Shay speaks and trying to think of the right letters. What is that?
You're just gonna have to Romanize it into Meldidian. I mean,
Neat.
Okay, so since you recognize them, any chance you know of quick, easy ways to get rid of them and kill them?
They can only be killed by magic. So
That doesn't help me.
I can only tell you exactly what I have seen before. If they do come around, stay far away.
Okay, well, that's not in my nature. But you know what? They haven't seen a sword skills like mine before. Maybe they can be killed with the right sword. So I am still going to try to defend my friend's lodge because, I mean, that sucks. Like, Why should they have to have their entire livelihoods destroyed because some shadow fairy creatures decide that they, I don't know, don't like orcs or something?
Jay, is there any way we can give Maria some kind of, I don't know, like cast or something to her sword or something so that when more of the shadow fae come in, she's not the only one without the tools to fight?
There are spells that can be learned or created or beseeched. So that does exist, but we'll get there.
I mean, if something can make my sword, I don't know what you'd call it, magical, or able to fight magic beings, yeah, I'd be down with that.
I've already thought of that and have begun testing, but I'm not anywhere close to that yet.
Hey, thanks, Shay. I appreciate that.
I'm trying, but these things take time, since it's never happened before.
Yeah, well, Shadow Fae serpent beings haven't been here before either, to my knowledge, so there you go, first for everything.
Yeah.
And we're friends with an elf, so I mean, nobody thought that was possible either, so there you go.
True, you are friends with an elf. That's...
Alright, who's going to tell Panabon they were right?
I think we could,
Nobody tell them.
There's so much work to do to figure out how to defeat this that I think that should be our focus. So if it's going to take magic, then we need our magic users, right? So that's Lox, that's Aegis. I mean, Panabon has some, but I mean, maybe this is something we could handle.
I mean, it would mean a lot to me if we could save the orcs that live here. I mean, Nguyen and I are close. She saved my life before, and I feel like I have that sense that I owe her, and I don't think that this is fair to leave her. Plus, that witch in the village, she met an elf, and I wonder if these beings also came through the same portal, which might mean, Rosalia, that a portal could exist around here, and I think that would be in our best interests if we could find that.
Never leaves any traces. What was that, Shay?
Why don't you guys go talk to the witch lady, and I'll go tell Panabon.
Okay.
I wonder how Aegis cast that was able to make everything quiet this morning. I wonder if, like, there's a trigger I could do where I could tell it them, and then all of a sudden it's just silent.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. Good luck.
Because the screaming of "I told you so" is something I could go without.
Yeah, when you were missing, there was a lot of screaming coming from Panabon. But don't tell them I told you that. Mm-hmm.
What? Was he hurt? Were they hurt?
I think that Panabon does not do well without you around. And honestly, I think you're pretty good for them. Yeah, I'm probably speaking out of turn, and I'm going to stop talking, because that's Panabon's business. And I walk that way with Rosalia.
Okay. Really quickly. Downstairs. Aegis. As you are doing the best you can to triage whoever can be triaged without needing magic, you notice that there's a sort of like a kerfluffle over at the side as several people start kind of yelling. One of them is yelling at another to, go and get another bowl. We got it. And then just chaos, right? As an individual starts to convulse on the bed.
I'll rush over and kind of set apart. Everyone calm down. What's happening?
as you approach and push everyone aside, he stills, and one of the people to the side says, I think we're losing him."
Can I make maybe a medicine check to see if I can save him through conventional means, or
You can make a medicine check to see if you can save him through conventional means. You take an action to look him over.
oh Jesus.
His pulse is super weak. In fact, you almost don't feel it.
Okay. Then I will kind of look around, feeling a little helpless. So
Okay.
I'll look.
You,
I'll look. Oh,
you
what were
take
you
some
gonna say?
time to look around and feel helpless.
Is that an action? Um, and then I will kind of grasp my beads in my hand, and I just close my eyes. Nipoe, this may be beyond my reach. I've seen you revive people. Help this man and anyone else you can. And I will cast a prayer of healing on this person and 5 other people in the area, just kind of like in the splash of this prayer. And try to save him. I don't have thaumaturgy. I was going to say I want to make it flamboyant, but my eyes glow. But no, I will do a prayer of healing for this person. Where are you at? There you go.
I like when you say splash zone. It makes me think of Gallagher hitting watermelons.
Basically,
So I just think of your prayers as like watermelons splashing onto people.
Okay.
oh, he'll shave her 12.
He'll shift. So, we all know how many hit points commoners have. Not a lot. The nearest 6 people who are in their beds, injured, I mean, horrific burns, a couple of them. They kind of all cry out as you stand there in the midst of everybody holding the beads and kind of praying, and as you had stood up from this individual, kind of marking that person, and he kind of quiets. There's a calmness, and then you start the prayer, and it's a 10-minute prayer, and there are people that are looking at you, and the first minute is kind of like what is this? What's this guy doing? And then they start to ignore you as they go back to like trying to help people. The one, you're vaguely aware of the person who is in front of you, like the person tending that individual, is like, oh, he seems okay. He's breathing now, kind of thing. But you kind of lose a sense of that. You're aware of the space around you insofar as if something big or crazy happened, you would know and you would be able to respond. But other than that, like just the small disturbances, the noise, everything else sort of falls away as you pray. The 10 minutes, was it 10 minutes? You're not sure.
10 minutes casting. No. Oh, you're actually asking.
Was it 10 minutes? You're not actually sure, because once you kind of get into the groove of it, there's this connection, and you actually feel at peace, and you're brought back to the present by this sudden rush of air, exclamations of surprise, as the closest 6 people are completely healed of their wounds. And everyone kind of turns and looks in your direction, it's obvious that whatever you were doing is what healed the people around. And we're going to call it there.
Oh, hard.
We have a few more minutes, but I don't think there's enough time to.
Can I react though?
Really get started. You can react.
I stand up, I cough, get back to work, and I turn around and I go back to work.
Smooth,
Okay.
they just smooth.
All right. So yeah, that'll be session tonight. Thanks for everyone for joining us. Thanks to the wonderful cast and players. I love spending this time with all of you. Thank you very much, Tom, for being the voice of Nipue. And
Thanks,
if check us out tomorrow. Check us out Tuesday. Check us out the rest of the week. After our stuff on Tuesday, or if you can't get to that, Randy's got Harbingers. That was a good time. So check that out. And yeah, we'll see everybody next week.
That was fun. Thank you, guys.